So we covered verse 5, 6, and 7 about the three jewels. And then we'll go on to verse 8. So I think that even with Sarasvati in one's throat, it would be hard to find an example of the great wish-fulfilling bodhicitta tree, which so easily accomplishes people's desires, flourishing in the ground of compassion and watered by love. Okay, so Sarasvati is one of the Buddhist deities, apparently quite, she's usually like holding a banjo kind of looking thing. Okay, so here it's the wish-fulfilling Bodhi tree. So not only is there a wish-fulfilling jewel, but there's also a tree. Okay, so the tree which so easily accomplishes people's desires. So the desires, again, could be immediate ones, temporary ones in samsara, a good rebirth, different things that somebody would like or somebody needs in this life. Or it could also be, the highest good, liberation and full awakening. Okay, and so bodhicitta accomplishes all of those, because again, the way it works is, sentient beings' virtues come from being taught by the Buddhas, or emanations of the Buddhas, or Buddhist teachers, or whoever it is. But all the knowledge, the wisdom, first of all, sentient beings' virtue, they have to learn how to create virtue. So for that, they need a teacher, they need teachings. Yeah, the teacher and the teachings, whatever the content of what is being taught, comes from the Buddha. It's what the Buddha taught in the sutras and what the great Indian sages commented on in their commentaries and treatises. Yeah, so you have sentient beings' virtue, goes back to the teachers and the teachings, which go back to the Buddha. Where did the Buddha come from? From bodhisattvas. Yeah, because bodhisattvas had to practice in order to become Buddhas. Where did those bodhisattvas come from? Bodhicitta. Okay, so sentient beings' desires being fulfilled. Do you see the chain, how it goes back? And it starts out in bodhicitta. Are you understanding this? Yeah? Maybe? Yeah, okay. So, so it's saying really without bodhicitta, then you couldn't have bodhisattvas, then we would never have fully awakened beings. Then we would never have the Dharma teachings they gave, or the teachers who taught us those Dharma teachings. And then we sentient beings would be bereft of knowing the difference between virtue and non-virtue, and knowing how to purify our mind and create merit and all these kinds of things. Okay, so the tree of bodhicitta that fulfills the wishes of sentient beings. Okay, so it's growing out of the ground of compassion, and it's watered by love. Okay, so love and compassion actually are the two causes of bodhicitta. Yeah, the compassion being the wish for sentient beings to be free of dukkha and its causes, and love being the wish for them to have happiness and its causes. So both love and compassion are necessary. Okay, then 9. How could the wish to help that a mother, father, sage, or even Brahma has possibly extend to every living creature like Supreme Bodhicitta? So in our normal life, at least in traditional societies, when people thought of who was the kindest being to them, they usually thought of their parents. Yeah. In our society, ever since Freud We blame everything on our parents. Yeah, which is really a problem. I think that's a problem in our society, because as long as you blame your parents, it sets you up to, it interferes with your being a good parent. Yeah. So, in traditional societies, people are very, very close to their families, and they really see the kindness of their parents in a way that our spoiled Western people don't see. Yeah, because I know it really took me a great deal of meditation and time to really get a sense of how kind my parents have been. Because as a teenager and young adult, all I did basically was complain about them and, blame my problems on them. And, they were overprotective, they were this, they were that, they were the other thing. But, when you really think about everything our parents did, first of all, just giving us this body, which is the basis of our precious human life. Yeah, our body didn't come out of nowhere. We didn't create our body. Yeah, so our parents created it, and they had us, regardless of the circumstances of our birth. Yeah, they welcomed us into the family. Yeah, and we responded with ah! Yeah, but they welcomed us anyway. Yeah, and I found it quite interesting, because when I was studying in Kaupan, the Tibetan lamas, they have a certain way of talking about the kindness, especially of the mother, according to old Tibetan culture. And, because in old Tibetan culture, they didn't have baby food. So the mothers chewed the food and then instead of swallowing it, they would take it out and give it to the babies. Yeah. And they didn't have disposable diapers and baby wipes then, so they used their hands and they had to wash all these things and so on. So, and then of course as babies, we couldn't do anything for ourselves. All we knew how to do maybe was cry, and after a while we learned how to smile. That was it. And yet we'd wake up in the middle of the night, who knows how many times, and cry, and maybe we had a bad dream, we had colic, we were hungry, and our parents, especially our mom, would get up and take care of us and be sleep deprived for, 2-3 years at a time. Right? Yeah? So how many you're a mother, you... Yeah? Are you mother? Okay. Are you Mother Carol? No? Okay. Yeah, so we have a few mothers. Fathers? You're a dad? Yeah? Are you a dad?
I'm a grandpa, and so I've had to go through all that.
Okay. A step-grandpa, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So, you really kind of see what parents go through and how much of their time is taken by taking care of their kids, and they don't have much time for anything more than that, especially when you have more than one. And, in previous times, kids helped around the house. Yeah, it was that a child was part of the household and they helped and they did things. Now the parents are the children's servants and drive the children here and drive the children there. And, the kids run the household. The parents ask the kids, do you want this? Do you want lemonade? Do you want orange juice? No, I want apple juice. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have apple juice. I want apple juice. Okay, I'll go out and buy some. And then the parent goes out and buys apple juice for their kid. You know? And the kids are the dictators of the households nowadays. Yeah. And instead of really appreciating the kindness of the parents, you know, see their parents really as their servants, you know. And, you know, somehow it's my generation that did this, I think, a lot. I mean, my parents knew how to say no, and they said it plenty. Yeah. Yeah, and they were parents. But my generation wants to be friends with their kids, so they say yes to everything. And then the kids just, you know, they run the household. At least that is my commentary. I don't know. Do you guys agree? What do you think? Sort of? Yeah? Connie? Yeah? Yeah? Yes?
Individual variation.
Yeah. Moderation's on a theme.
We don't have any juice.
Oh.
I've gone that far, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
And you're very perceptive. You did a perfect imitation of my nephew.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, you know, kids in the past, and I still think to some extent in Asian society, although that's beginning to change, kids are brought up being told, you know, to appreciate their parents and how kind their parents are. And so the kids grow up believing that, and they see it, and they appreciate and respect their parents. Yeah, which, you know, when you look at, I mean, our parents have been amazingly kind to us because, I mean, we have a body due to them, we have an education due to them, we have manners to some extent or another due to them. I mean, we know how to get along with people because they had to discipline us and teach us. Yeah, so we really owe quite a bit to our parents, and yet we hardly ever see it. Yeah. But if you think about it, then it becomes much clearer. Yeah. And even in situations where our parents couldn't take care of us, they made sure somebody took care of us. You know, some of us had parents who were quite ill. You know, somebody else took care of us. The proof of the pudding is that we're alive. Yeah, if nobody else took care of us, we wouldn't be alive. So it's, you know, somebody did. Okay, so, you know, if you think of the kindness of your mother and father, if you think of the kindness of a sage, okay, somebody who tutors you or a mentor, maybe in school you had some kind of mentor or teacher or somebody who kind of helped you along. Yeah, I remember one 8th grade teacher who kind of, you know, he like really sparked my interest in learning and understood a little bit of what I was thinking when most of the other adults around me I thought were ridiculous. So, you know, well, they were. Yeah? I couldn't find adults that made sense. So, well, I shouldn't be that judgmental, but, you know, so we had mentors when we were young, and, you know, the kindness of people who tutored us along the way, or maybe very close friends who understood us when nobody else in the world understood us, or maybe pets who loved us, yeah, when nobody in the family seemed to. Yeah, we had this big German Shepherd dog who was really my best friend. Yeah, when I got yelled at, I'd go out in the garage and be with the dog because he was always kind. Yeah. So, or even Brahma, you know, coming from this, remember I was talking yesterday, taking on the Hindu gods, Yeah. So we think of other beings who have been kind to us, and none of their kindness really compares to what we have gained from bodhicitta, from people who have bodhicitta. Okay? So how can the wish to help that any of these people have possibly extend to every living creature like Supreme Bodhicitta does? Yeah, so parents, they wish to help their children, but not necessarily other people's children. Yeah. And teachers want to help their students, but not necessarily all of them, because some students are pains in the neck. Yeah. And Brahma, I don't know Brahma's trip. Yeah, but most people, when you look, most living beings, they help some people, but not others. True or not true? Yeah. And even us, when we look at how we extend help, do we extend help impartially to everybody? Or do we, have, maybe we can't physically, extend the same help to others, but even in our mind, do we have the wish to help everybody equally? Or in our mind, do we have favorites? Yeah, we have favorites, don't we? The people, our family members, the people who are nice to us, the people who praise us, the people who agree with our ideas, we help those people way before we help the people whose ideas we don't like and who do behavior that we don't like. Yeah, and yet bodhicitta, bodhicitta is based on this impartial thought that doesn't play favorites, that sees each and every living being as equally valuable, whether it's a bug or a president. Yeah, each living being is equally valuable, equally precious. So you can see that bodhicitta is quite special, isn't it? Yeah. And people who have bodhicitta are very special. They're not like our parents or our best friends or our teachers or our grandparents or our mentors in school, They bodhicitta sticks by us even when sentient beings dump us for whatever reason. Yeah. It's amazing how with sentient beings that we form very close bonds with different sentient beings, and then we expect those close bonds to always remain the same, even though everything's always in flux. Yeah. And so we're kind of surprised sometimes when relationships change, or when people, break trust. I know none of us break trust, right? It's all those other people who break our trust. We're nice people who fulfill our promises, all right? Yeah. So, we don't treat people equally. We're quite partial. Yeah. And yet bodhicitta is based on an impartial, unbiased view of each and every sentient being as worthy of care. It's quite remarkable when you think of it. And so, when you compare that wish to help that bodhicitta gives somebody with the wish to help that even parents have. Even parents towards their child. Forget the fact that parents don't have that towards everybody's children. Even towards their own child, parents' help is biased, isn't it? They help when you do what they want. Yeah. Some parents will help even when you don't do what they want. But they'll let you know. And many parents won't even help if you do what they don't want. Yeah. Whereas bodhicitta, it's just, it's impartial to everybody. Really amazing. Yeah?
It was really interesting coming here for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody looks kind of the same, except for a couple of people who have some, different characteristics, like Venerable And it's like my brain is working to figure out how to differentiate people, how to pick out, okay, which one are you and which one are you like I can't just let them all be the same person.
Uh-huh.
I need, probably just like I need to have myself be a real existent person, I'm really needing everybody else to be that way too. And it's really challenged that
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation. Yeah, then you could decide, which nuns you like and which you don't like, and yeah.
And I can't decide who I like and don't like if I can't tell them apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Venerable Samten looks just like Venerable Tarpa. And Venerable Jamba looks just like Venerable Sultra. Yeah? So, yeah, we're all equal, huh? No, but it's true. It's a good observation. Huh?
Maybe you could color code your robes?
Yes, right. Light shades of maroon, dark shades of maroon. Okay. So here, talking about equanimity or impartiality, I think that's a good place for us to pause for a moment, because in the text is very much praising different qualities of bodhicitta, but it's not telling us how to develop those qualities. Yeah. So the reason we praise bodhicitta is so that we want to develop it. But just praising it alone won't get us to develop it. We have to know the meditations to do, how to, there's two actually very consecutive step-by-step methods to practice to cultivate bodhicitta. And so since both of them are based on having equanimity or impartiality towards all beings, and this verse mentions impartiality, I think it might be good to pause here and talk about these ways of generating bodhicitta. Yeah, because otherwise, it's a little bit dangerous. We read about the benefits of bodhicitta. We get inspired, but inspiration is not bodhicitta. Yeah. So the purpose of inspiration is to get us to train our mind in bodhicitta. So in the same way, when we read the biographies of some of the great practitioners, we feel very inspired. We shouldn't stop there and just feel inspired and praise them and have a mind of worship towards them, because that does not help us improve the state of our mind so that our mind becomes like them. It makes our mind happy and joyful, and we create virtue by admiring them. But we need to go a step further, and if we admire different practitioners, then to really learn, well, how did they practice to become that way, and then to practice that way ourselves. Okay, are you getting what I mean? So it's very important to not just stop with being inspired, but to go and try and actualize what it is that makes us inspired. Okay, so there's a little exercise that I like to do that gets people thinking about equanimity a little bit. Some of you have done it many times before, but I don't know about you, every time I do it, yeah, do you learn something new from it? Okay, so close your eyes, lower your eyes, come back to your breath. Now, think of somebody that you have a lot of attachment to, somebody you really care about. And just ask yourselves, why do I care about that person so much? Why am I so attached to them? So there's no right or wrong answers. Just ask yourself that question and see the kind of answers that your mind gives. Why am I so attracted and attached and care so much about that person? And then think of somebody that you really don't like, that you have anger or resentment or jealousy towards. Again, think of a specific individual and ask yourself, why do I have, so much anger and resentment, jealousy towards this person? And again, there's no right or wrong answers. Just listen to the reasons that your mind says. And then think of somebody that you feel quite neutral towards. They're kind of a stranger. So ask yourself, why do I feel apathetic towards this person, not really caring much what happens to them? And again, no right or wrong answers, but why do I feel apathetic? Okay, so why are you attached to your friends? What kind of reasons did your mind give?
Because I recognize good values.
Huh?
I recognize good values in this person.
Yeah, you see good values in them. Mm-hmm. Their values agree with yours. Yeah. What else?
They're nice to me.
Yeah, they're nice to us. Uh-huh. What else?
Shared reality.
Shared reality. They support all of our opinions. What else? Hmm?
They appreciate me.
Yeah, they appreciate us.
They look out for my welfare.
They look out for our welfare. Okay, then what about the disagreeable people? Yeah. We can call them enemy for short, but it basically means people we don't like. Yeah. So why anger, resentment, jealousy towards them?
Phony.
Hmm?
Phony.
Phony. They're phony.
Pretends to have qualities that doesn't have.
They pretend they have qualities they don't have. And they think that we're going to be dumb enough to believe it. So they're trying to pull one over on us. Yeah. Okay, why else?
They let me down.
They let us down. Yeah. They said they were going to do things and they don't. Or they do the opposite. What else?
Treated me poorly.
They treat us poorly. Maybe insult us or ignore us. What else?
I tend to stay away the individuals that engage in divisive speech, so all of a sudden you're in a triangle of problems. You said this about you, this and that.
So they gossip.
The gossip.
Yeah.
We complain.
They complain. About who?
Well, whatever situation they're in.
Okay.
Everyone swaps situations with you when they do, and then they complain.
Yeah.
about it.
So we don't like being around their complaints and around their gossip. Yeah, it's just like, leave me alone. I want to hear this rubbish.
Emotionally needy.
They're emotionally needy. They want something from us. Yeah. And we have no freedom when we're with them. We feel like we're just, huh? Obligated, yeah. Or suffocated. Yeah. Huh? Shifty ethics. Okay, so we can't trust them. Okay. What about strangers? Why are we apathetic towards strangers?
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, we don't know anything about them. Why else?
Anything to harm me or help me.
Yeah, they haven't harmed me and they haven't helped me. And I don't have time. Yeah. Yes, yet to be categorized. They're still in the inbox. We haven't put them, we haven't filed them away yet.
Haven't felt any connection.
Yeah, no connection. No connection. Okay. So, what word do you hear in all of this? Me, I. They? Them? But what word do you hear more? Them or me? Me. I mean, me is the center of the thing, isn't it? They are the, we're the sun and they're the, they can either be planets that revolve around us, or they can be comets that blow through and we never see them again. Yeah?
Or asteroids
Heading for us.
Yeah, or asteroids, yeah.
Moon surrounding us.
Yeah, yeah. They move surrounding us in relationship to us. Yeah. So somebody becomes a friend, enemy, or stranger based on how they relate to me. Okay? So our friends are good people, our enemies are bad people, and strangers are ant people. Okay? So, you know, who creates the friend? We look at the friend and we think, oh, this person has good qualities in them. They are a friend over there. From their side, they're a friend because they have good qualities in them. Is it like that they have good qualities in them and they're a friend from over there? Or is it that they show their good qualities towards us? Which is it? Do they have inherently existent good qualities, or is it that they show certain qualities towards us? Yeah. We see those qualities, or they show them towards us, or there's something. It's not like they're an inherently good person over there, objectively, and we just happen to bump into them and recognize those good qualities. Because if they acted differently, you know, think of a person that you really think is wonderful. Does that person also have some bad qualities? Yeah. When that person shows their bad qualities towards you, are they still in the friend category, or have they temporarily gone into the disagreeable category?
No problem.
Yeah. They shift categories, don't they? Yeah. If somebody has a very kind, loving disposition and they show it towards you, they're friend. if they have a kind, loving disposition and they show it towards somebody you can't stand, who's hurt you, then what do they become?
Dumb.
Yeah. Dumb.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens.
Yeah. They're dumb. They're stupid. Okay. So, yeah, if somebody has some really nasty qualities and they show those nasty qualities towards somebody else we don't like, what do they become?
Cool.
Cool and smart. When they show those same qualities towards us, what do they become? Jerks. But it's interesting, isn't it? The person has those qualities, but we don't evaluate them based. We think we're evaluating them based on their qualities. We're actually judging them and putting them in categories based on which qualities they demonstrate towards us. Isn't it? Yeah. Because it just so happens that we are the center of the universe. And so somebody who's nice to me must be inherently existent good, and somebody who's awful to me must be inherently existent evil, bad, reprehensible. And somebody who doesn't influence me at all, I have better things to occupy my mind with. Who cares about them? They're just things on the sidewalk or on the highway that get in our way that we have to navigate through. But do we ever look at those people and think, wow, they have lives just like we have lives? They have stories like that we have stories. They feel happiness and misery just like we do. Yeah. Do you ever look at the person, the garbage collector, and think that that person has a life and has people that they love, people that they want to be happy? Yeah. Yeah. We just sign off. And to us, they have as much value as the stink bugs. So are you coming kind of to see the point that we think we see people in an objective way, but we don't. We see them through the lens of how they relate to me. Yeah? Yeah?
There's a quick comment on, now in the cyberspace.
In the what? In cyberspace. Yeah.
So, friends, and when you Facebook, and you friend people, and people have, hundreds and thousands of friends. But this concept of friends
what does friend mean in the age of Facebook? Yeah, it's become very cheap, doesn't it? Because lots of people friend you and you don't even know who they are. Yeah? So the meaning of friend doesn't mean much, but it's the number of friends that people want. Because if I have a lot of people click that, then it means I'm good. But who says, then it means I'm good? Yeah? Isn't that some kind of, value judgment that, sixth graders think? Yeah. Like if a lot of people friend me, it means I'm a good person. Is that true? Yeah? that you're a good person because a lot of people click friend on Facebook? Yeah. Or a lot of people defriend you or they click the other one. Does that mean you're a bad person? It's quite interesting, isn't it, how we make up these judgments based on this and this and the meaning we assign to this and this. And our whole self-esteem, especially when you're in 6th grade. Or 6th grade or older. Your whole self-esteem depends on this figure or this figure. Hey, isn't that rather crazy? Huh? Really?
They found a way to make junior high more hellish.
Yeah, exactly. How to make junior high more hellish. Mm.
Some young people have taken their lives because of how they've been judged on.
Right. Yeah. Quite pitiful. And some adults too, get very upset over this and this. But you can see it's all about me, isn't it? Oh, that rhymes. You can see it's all about me. We could do a skit. We had one. That was a great skit, actually. So what we're getting at is we're rather fickle, and we're also rather biased. We put people, we move them back from friend and enemy category according to small things. Yeah. And they'll go from enemy category to stranger category. You get mad at somebody and you never speak to them again. Yeah, over small things. They'll go from stranger category to friend or enemy category. They'll go from friend category to enemy category, back to friend category to stranger. And whatever category somebody's in at any particular moment, we think that's who they are objectively, and that's how the relationship is always going to be, and that especially we think we are perceiving the reality of who that person is and their worth as a human being. Okay? Remember earlier in the week I talked about how sometimes we get the feeling that our mind is out of touch with reality? Is this one of those times? Yeah? When you see, boy, how we relate to other people is completely ridiculous, nonsensical. And so that, because when we look at each living being, they're actually the same. I mean, first of all, they all started out as strangers. Yeah? And when we die, they all go back to being strangers. Mm-hmm. They all want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. They all have good qualities and they all have bad qualities. Yeah. So why are we discriminating so much between them? And even, between different forms. Yeah. Why, there's the turkey and there's Ted Cruz. I got it right that time. Yeah? And there's the turkey and there's the person that you love dearly. And what's really the difference between them? Just how they happen to relate to you temporarily. Yeah, but the person you love dearly isn't always going to be in that role and relationship, and they may not always be a human being. And the turkey is also not going to always be in that role in the relationship, and they may be a human being. They're not going to always be a turkey. Mm-hmm.
What do you think then of ISIS? How would you relate to them?
To what?
ISIS?
ISIS. Yeah. I relate to them as sentient beings who want to be happy, don't want to suffer, and are tremendously confused about what is the cause of happiness and the cause of suffering. That's what I think about them. And I think the same way about my brother, by the way. You know, and my brother doesn't behead people. Yeah?
I also wanted to add it's familiarization very much. So while we were doing the walking meditation outside, there came hunters up here in a car. And they wanted to go up the road, and then we told them it's a private road, it's a private place here. And so they turned around, but immediately I saw them in their special dress, and I had this anger feeling, you know, and then he started to speak and ask, and then I recognized that his speech was not clear, that he had some disability. And then that immediately shifted into some sense of compassion and understanding that you don't know what he is doing. And that's only because I'm more and more habituated. I know years ago I would have only anger, that's it. And then also the other thing what came to mind is, you know, when you step out of yourself and you join a community or something bigger than yourself, then your identification is not just you, and somehow your mind is broader, and that supports your compassion and understanding tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was there. We saw those hunters, right? And, you know, I looked at those guys and I talked to them a little bit, you know, directed them back down the road, and I just thought, hey, those are a couple of really good guys. 10 years ago, or before I met the Dharma, I'd have been in the truck with them, you know, doing the exact same thing. And I'm certain that I could go out and have had a beer with them and gone on hunting trips. And so there's a connect there. And of course, the teachings are so important because, like, to me, an airport is a place with thousands of friends waiting to happen. I mean, you know, it's not, when I go through, I can't possibly connect with everyone. I can't do that, right? But I connect with the lady giving me my coffee. And I talk to people in the line. And I connect with the stewardess and the pilot and whoever else happens to be around. And so there's always opportunity to make connections. And I mean, the real skill that I think that I've learned here in this hall is, you know, the disagreeable ones, you just, this concept of multiple lifetimes from the Buddha nature really, really takes hold. And there's a difference between, well, for me, having idiot's compassion, being involved with people that get me down the wrong road, and just buying into that, as opposed to taking a step back and just mentally doing all of the proper things, and then dealing with more appropriate people. But you don't, it's not like you're labeling as an enemy anymore. You're just saying, hey, they've got their issues, but I can't bite in.
Yeah.
That's what's so nice about all these meditations.
Yeah. Yeah. So developing a feeling of equanimity towards everybody doesn't mean you act the same towards everybody. Yeah, because there are different social roles and social relationships that we have to have. And having equal feeling of care and concern for everybody doesn't mean we trust everybody in the same way. You're not going to trust a 2-year-old with matches, I hope. But hopefully you'll trust a 22-year-old with matches. Yeah? So we still act differently towards different people. We may trust different people in different ways, but the feeling of wanting them to be happy and the feeling of being able to connect with them or reach out to them or help them in some way is the same, although we may not actually help them the same way. Yeah, because they may feel uncomfortable with a stranger coming up to them. Or they may feel comfortable, who knows? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to bring in some Zen
Sure.
practice maybe?
Mm-hmm.
There's this well-known Soto Zen master, Dogen, who talks about identification with others. That's one of his, he has 4 parameters. He has his own choice. One of them is identification with others. It's really helpful, I think, to try to also just change perspective.
Mm.
Your perspective, or force yourself to take another person's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like a seller,
Mm.
try to see things from his or her perspective, or
Yeah.
this guy who's treating you whatever. I've also learned that sometimes even if somebody's angry with me and whatever, destructive towards me, then I always try to see, did I do something to provoke that? So there's this identification. How does it look from his or her side?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really helpful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Like, what are their feelings? What are their needs? How are they viewing the situation?